Despite a massive winter storm that affected large portions of the United States, Avatar 2 still dominated the Christmas weekend box office. And maybe some of the numbers specifically for Saturday and Sunday weren't exactly as much as people expected before weather really became a factor, but you can't pretend like people just didn't go out to the theaters. They absolutely did, as long as they were given a reason to. Avatar 2 gave people a reason to go out. But unfortunately, something that didn't was something that relied much more on big star power, like Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie. Babylon ended up completely flopping at the Christmas box office, and it looks like it's going to be an absolute disaster. When we started looking at the scores for the critics and the audience alike, it seemed like it was a very mad movie. But instead of a mad box office, it ended up being a complete and total disaster. Margot Robbie's Babylon becomes her second box office flop of 2022. And it looks like this one is going to be even more of a flop than Amsterdam was, which was released several months earlier. Look at these numbers for Babylon. The first weekend plus Monday, $4.8 million. It only made, when we go down here, let's see what it made at your actual weekend box office. What's this number? $3.6 million. That's it. $3.6 million opening weekend. That might be fine if your budget was, say, $10 million, $15 million, maybe. You'd still probably lose money if that were the case. But what's the budget for this? $110 million. That means that this movie needs to make somewhere in the realm of, I don't know, $260, $300 million just to think about breaking even. This is going to be easily a $200+ million loss. It's not even going to come close to numbers that it needs to be profitable. This is terrible. And again, it stars Brad Pitt, it stars Margot Robbie. But one thing we are increasingly seeing in Hollywood is that simply names like that aren't going to get people out to the theaters. Look what happens when you put The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, in a DC movie as Black Adam. It loses money. This is just so common, and this is what we're seeing. We're calling it the death of the movie star. There's some people still out there. Tom Cruise, definitively still a movie star, definitively can get people out to the box office. But you can't just put someone's name on something and expect it to succeed. That first box office flop we were talking about in Amsterdam, look at this, $30 million. And this wasn't just Margot Robbie. Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, Chris Rock, Anya Taylor-Joy, Zoe Saldana, Michael Shannon, Timothy Olyphant, Taylor Swift, Robert De Niro, Rami Malek, like a bunch of names in Hollywood. And they couldn't get anyone to go to this movie. Now, that only cost $80 million, which means it probably ended up losing somewhere in the realm of $170 to maybe even $200 million. This one is going to be even worse. And you can't sit there and make excuses for the winter storm, okay? You just can't do it, because look what Avatar 2 did during the weekend. $64 million. Fell about a little over 50% from that opening weekend. And then the day after Christmas was a really big one for Avatar. A $31 million day after Christmas Monday. Today, it's going to pass $1 billion worldwide. With only, what does it be, like the 12th or 13th day of release, somewhere around there? Yeah, probably 12th day of release on this Tuesday. That is huge for Avatar: The Way of Water. Still a long way to go before it becomes profitable, as we've discussed over and over again. But it's already crossing $1 billion worldwide after today. This same cannot be said for the things that Margot Robbie has been involved with. Babylon's limited Christmas release came with barely a whimper, giving Margot Robbie another box office bomb following October's Amsterdam release. Margot Robbie has seen her second movie in a row become a box office bomb. Remember Birds of Prey? Birds of Prey, that was that last year, the year before? I think it may have been the year before last. That was a box office bomb as well. Margot Robbie, not the best track record as of late. The movie, which also stars Brad Pitt, Olivia Wilde, and Tobey Maguire, was given a limited release on December 23rd to less than positive reviews, and that certainly has not helped the film's box office earning. Currently, the movie seems certain to end the extended weekend having taken less than $6 million against its $79 million budget. Now, again, we have very conflicting numbers for this budget, don't we? Production budget, $110 million for this one. Some sources say $80 million, some sources say $79 million, some say $110 million. Either way you slice it, let's take the most conservative, $80 million. That means this movie needs to make somewhere around $240 potentially $1 million to break even. it's going to be lucky to make $40 million. This is a disaster for Margot Robbie. Babylon is a 3-hour plus movie, which is many moviegoers know as long to see any film, and it seems like many just didn't have the time to spend heading to cinemas. Well, people certainly didn't mind. It's actually the exact same runtime as Avatar, I believe. The runtime for Babylon is 3 hours and 9 minutes. For Avatar, it's not much longer, 3 hours, 12 minutes. These are effectively the same length movies. So one, people are more than willing to sit through, the other, not so much. While a lot of the issues with movies like Babylon recently revolved around timing, as well as people being more choosy about which movies they spend money, for Margot Robbie, this is the second movie in the last few months to have been badly reviewed and flopped at the box office. Margot Robbie has rarely put a foot wrong since breaking into Hollywood with The Wolf of Wall Street, but in October, the movie Amsterdam was released in a flurry of controversy and ended up crashing at the box office and with critics. Now Robbie's once again facing the same story with Babylon, and it seems like its even wider release in January may not be enough to save the movie from being a commercial failure. Margot Robbie's not enough to get people to the box office. That's just the reality. Brad Pitt isn't enough to just get people to the box office. Now, when I saw the previews for Babylon, I thought it looked interesting. Not necessarily something I would go see without other people, without good word of mouth. And it certainly looks like it's not going to be getting that. Despite Avatar having a massive Christmas box office, Babylon completely and totally flops. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. This is just the story of Hollywood right now. People are being very selective about what they go out to see because Hollywood has done them dirty over and over and over again. It's not enough to just put a name that people recognize out there in theaters. It will bomb, and that's exactly what happened. Let me know in the comment section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.